All right. Well, hi again, everyone, and welcome to this week's Alertus Power Lunch, IP-AVA alert settings, utilizing live voice, text-to-speech, and audio files. My name is Brooke Petrozelli, and I'm a training specialist here at Alertus. I will be staying off camera today just because there's some construction going on in my house, and so I'm in a weird room. But I'm also joined today by someone who is on camera, Sarah Gillum, another training specialist here who will be leading the conversation. This session will cover how to utilize live voice, text-to-speech, and audio files to enhance your alerting capabilities on IP-AVA devices, including IP text-to-speech speakers. Whether you're looking to enhance the clarity and impact of your messages or just getting started with the IP-AVA devices, this session will give you the tools you need to make your alerts more dynamic and effective. This is an interactive session, so please feel free to ask any questions or throw them in the chat or the Q&A feature. Please be aware that the session is also being recorded for training purposes. And so without further introduction, Sarah, let's get started.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Brooke. I will go ahead and share my screen so we can get started looking at the Alertus console here. I'm just going to log in with my admin account. And like Brooke mentioned, we're going to walk through setting up some different alerts just to demonstrate all of those features, and we'll be showing them on this IP text-to-speech speaker that I have behind me. But for your IP-AVA devices, they have a lot of user-friendly settings that can be modified through the Alertus server, as you can see here. And then there's some more advanced settings on the actual devices themselves. And like Brooke mentioned, those IP-AVA devices include the IP-AVA interface, IP text-to-speech speakers, IP analog phone interfaces, and IP SIP enunciators. And we're going to be focusing primarily on the IP text-to-speech speaker today as we demonstrate a live voice alert, an alert with an audio file, and then also a text-to-speech alert. And we are going to be creating some alert services for that IP text-to-speech speaker in order to control all of those settings. So we'll start with live voice. So first we need to create an alert service or a delivery method to tell our speaker that we want to use the live voice feature. So to set up that live voice or live audio alert service, I'm going to come under this configure system section and then scroll down to the alert services tab. So here's where I can see existing alert services that I already have created, and we're going to create a new one together. The alert service that you are looking for is going to be the live voice for IP-AVA. If you do have an HPSA system or high-powered speaker arrays, those really big outdoor speakers, those are also able to have live voice. So there's another live voice alert service for HPSA systems. But we're going to pick the IP-AVA live voice, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to have it start with today's date so I remember that I created it for this session, and I'm just going to name it IP-AVA live voice. And then there are no other customizable settings here, so I'm just going to go ahead and click add. So now we have this alert service, and we're going to be able to use it in an activation. So you could pull in the alert service and create a preset alert if you want to have an alert that you can resend without having to build it every time. But just for today, I'm just going to walk through building out a custom activation with you all. So I'm going to come up to this custom activation page. And starting from the top here, we're going to compose our message text. So since we are doing live audio for the text-to-speech speaker, the speaker is just going to say whatever I say, but this message would be shown on any other types of devices that you include. Like if I also want to activate my alert beacons, for example, you would see this message on there. But I'm just going to go ahead for this example and pull in a system test message template that I already have created. I can also set the duration and priority for this alert. The duration is just how long it would be active unless it's canceled early. I'll just leave it with 30 minutes. I won't let it run that whole time. And then the priority is essentially how urgent the alert is in the system. So if there's multiple alerts at the same time, the highest priority is what would be showing up. I'm just going to pick the lowest priority since this is just a test. And then this next section here is where we get to pull in our alert services. Again, those are our delivery methods. So it's the type of device that we're targeting and also the settings for that device. So here's where I'm going to pull in that IP-AVA live voice alert service that we just created. You can also include other types of devices. For example, I could also pull in my alert beacons that you see behind me. And if you do click the plus sign, you can further edit the settings. There's really no customizable settings for the live voice alert service, but the alert beacons do have a lot of customizable settings. So for example, maybe I'll leave them on silent since they're right behind me, but maybe I'll pull in a particular LED blink, and then I'm also going to activate my LED marquee. So this alert beacon will show the message here, but again, the speaker is just going to be live voice, so it's going to say whatever I'm saying. And then the final step is choosing your recipients. So I'm just going to pick my building 1 group since that includes all of the devices behind me. And then when you're ready to send, you'll just hit continue. Here you can review some additional information. You can see the types or the number of devices that you're targeting and then how many of them are actually online. And then we'll go ahead and click send. And since I did include that alert service for a live voice activation, it's pulling me to this screen where I can start that live voice. So you'll notice the alert beacons are going off behind me already with that message that I had just in that text box. But my speaker isn't saying anything yet. It's just waiting for me to start speaking. So whatever I speak in here is what you would hear on the speaker. When you're ready to start, you'll just hit start speaking and say your message. I'm going to say test, test. This is a test. This is only a test. And then I just hit done speaking since I'm done speaking, but you could continue since if you saw that countdown, you have 30 minutes that you could continue speaking. So I went ahead and just said I was done. And so you are also able to play back and re-listen to what you've said. So I can play this audio back. I'm going to say test, test. This is a test. This is only a test. And then you do also have the option to download that audio if you do want to save it. So since I'm done speaking, my speaker isn't saying anything, but my alert beacons are still going off. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that alert. So those other devices will stop being activated. So that's how the live audio works. It's very straightforward. It is able to use your computer's microphone, so you can just speak in there, and then whatever you say will be projected on the speakers. And then the next function that we wanted to display are using audio files for your IP-AVA devices. So these audio files, you can use default audio that is already on your Alertus system, or you can also upload or record custom audio. So if you would like to record custom audio for your alerts, you can do that from this media tab here. This is where you're able to either pull in a file for either images or for media or audio files. And you are also able to see any of the previously uploaded or default media in here. And you can preview any of these audio files if you'd like. And then if you want to upload or record custom audio to keep on your system, you can just click this record audio button. It will pull up a similar looking screen. You'll just press start recording, speak into the microphone, and then you can save it. But I have already recorded some custom audio for our speaker, so I'm just going to pull in this test audio that I recorded. It's in my uploaded media section, so I can also play it here. This is a test, this is a test, and it's just me saying this is a test again. So I'm going to pull in that audio file into an alert service so that my speaker will play that audio file. So we're going to go back to this alert services section, and we're going to add a new alert service for our IP text-to-speech speakers. Since we're not using live audio, we're not going to pick the live audio alert service. We're just going to pick the text-to-speech IP alert service. And this one does have a lot more settings that we can specify. Again, I'm just going to name this one 314, and I'm just going to call it audio file. So I remember I created it with the audio file today. And then we can scroll down to these alert service settings. So you do actually have the option to pull in multiple audio files. If you notice, there's an option for pre-wave audio, which would play before the alert. For the alert audio, you're able to pull in whatever audio file you'd like to use there. And then you can also pull in an additional post-wave audio file. So I'm going to do that for my pre-wave audio. I just want to really get everyone's attention. So maybe I'll pull in this chime audio. I think that sounds good. And then, like we mentioned, I'm going to pull in an audio file for my alert, and I'm just going to pull in that test audio that I already recorded. This is that I could preview there. And I did record it before the session today because if you notice up here, after you do upload new audio to the system, you do need to wait about 15 minutes for it to fully process before it can be used in the text-to-speech alert service. I'm just going to pull in that audio I recorded and hit apply. So you could pull in like audio like speaking like I did, or you could pull in like a song or sound that you'd want to play. Another use case for using this audio is with text-to-speech, our speakers support English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese currently. But if you do need to share an alert in a different language, you always have the option to just go ahead and record it as an audio file to pull that in. And then this alert audio play count is just how many times this alert audio file will play. Let's have it play twice. And then for the post wave, I have another option to pull in something to play after that alert audio. Maybe I'll pull in a different tone. Maybe I'll just pull in this long chime. And then the final required setting here is this audio play count. So this is how many times it would go through the pre-wave audio, the alert audio with however many repetitions we set, and then the post-wave. Maybe I just want it to go through all of that one time. And then there are a few other options that you can set here. For example, if you're using text-to-speech, which we'll demonstrate next, you can update the speech rate. And then if you do have any LEDs controlled to your text-to-speech speakers or connected to your text-to-speech speakers, then you can set the LED behavior here. But I'm just going to leave it with those settings. I'm going to go ahead and click Add. So now I have that alert service on my system right here. And I'm going to go back to that custom activation page to send out that alert so we can see that behavior. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in an example system test message. Again, this isn't really needed if you're just sending something out to your speaker, since I'm using an audio file for this example. But if you are pulling in any other devices or any devices using text-to-speech, then that's what message would be displayed. And then again, I'm just going to leave it with 30-minute duration. Maybe I'll pull the priority down again, and then I'll pull in that alert service we just created. So here's the alert service with that audio file. If you do click the plus sign here, you're able to see all of the audio that you have selected. You can preview any of that audio from the alert service. And then if you do need to change it from here, you still have the option to pull in a different audio file if you'd like. And then you can also update any of those other alert service settings right before you send this out. And I'm going to leave it as is. And then again, I'm just going to pull in my building one group. Since I'm just pulling in the text-to-speech speaker alert service here, even though I have other devices in this building one group, they need to match in both sections. So this is actually only going to activate this text-to-speech speaker. And I do believe I also have my desktop connected here, so I could pull in a desktop alert service if I wanted as well. But again, I'm just going to stick to the text-to-speech speaker. So I'll go ahead and hit continue. Again, I can see the devices I'm targeting here, and then I'll go ahead and click send. So now we should be able to hear the speaker activating momentarily. So hopefully I have the volume up loud enough that you will be able to hear it going off behind me. There it goes. This is a test. This is a test. Demo 1. So it'll play that twice since I had the alert audio playing twice. This is a test. Demo 1. And then it'll play that long chime at the end. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel it early. So hopefully you were able to hear that speaker behind me. Again, that's an example of how you could pull in that audio file. And so the last alert type that we were going to look at today is using text-to-speech. So the final alert service that we're going to create is going to use the text-to-speech option. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new alert service. We're going to pull in that same IP text-to-speech alert service and then give it a name. I'm just going to call this one 314 text-to-speech. And then specify our settings here. So you still do have the option for those pre-wave and post-wave audio files. I do like to play some sort of chime before the alert audio just to really get everyone's attention. Maybe I'll pull in a different tone this time. I could pull in that danger one, but it's very loud. It definitely gets your attention. Maybe I'll pull in this emergency tone as my pre-wave audio. Now for my alert audio, I'm going to pick text-to-speech this time, and then let's have that replay 3 times. So this alert audio, whatever we set for our message, will play 3 times, and then we can also add in post-wave audio if we'd like, and maybe I'll just have it end with that chime and hit apply, and then I'll just have it go through all of that one time. And then we can also update some other settings like we discussed. I recommend leaving the speech rate on medium. I think it's easy to hear and understand, but if you do notice that the speech is going too fast or too slow, you can always come in and update that here if needed. If this looks good, I'm going to go ahead and click add to add that alert service, and then I'm going to send it again in a custom activation. So let's say this time I'm going to pull in a different example. Maybe let's say there's a fire. I can pull in this fire evacuation order template I already have saved. You do also have the option to type out a custom message in the box if you'd like. So now since we picked text-to-speech, our speaker is just going to read out this message. For the duration, I'm going to leave it with 30 minutes at the highest priority, since this is now for a fire evacuation. And then for my alert services, I'm going to pull in the text-to-speech alert service we just created. Maybe I'll also pull in my desktop this time. Your desktops are also able to use text-to-speech, so we'll be able to hear that in the desktop as well. And then the final step again is choosing recipients, either all of your devices that you've selected up here, specific groups, or just specific units or individual devices. So I'm going to pick that building 1 group again, hit continue, and then I'm going to go ahead and send that out. So we'll hear these devices reading this message text that we've specified. So I'll go ahead and click send. So then we should momentarily be getting that alert starting on the desktops and on the text-to-speech speaker. There's the speaker going off behind me. And here's the desktop alert.
Fire. Please evacuate.
I just acknowledged it from my desktop so we can focus on the speaker.
For local authorities.
But hopefully you can hear it reading that
Order is now in
message.
effect on 14th March 2025, 11 hours, 49 minutes and 58 seconds of EDT. An evacuation order is now.
Hopefully you all get the
effect
idea.
225.
I'm just going to cancel it
Please
early.
evacuate immediately. Please follow evacuation instructions from local authorities.
So-
An evacuation order is now in effect on 14th.
There we go. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds to stop. So even though I had it repeating multiple times, you can always still cancel it early if you don't want it to go through the full thing. So I did cancel it early just since I'm working in the office today. I didn't want it to be too loud for everyone else here. Awesome. Awesome. So those are those features that we discussed demonstrated on the speaker. I will also point out, if you do have the IP text-to-speech speakers, there are some additional speaker settings that you can set under this configure system section. If you do come down to this text-to-speech tab, there are some additional settings here that you can specify. For example, in this global settings tab, you can control whether or not you want your system to be able to download new device software automatically so that you're able to send like updated software to your text-to-speech speakers. And then additionally, in this text-to-speech profile section, you're able to create different profiles and assign those profiles to specific devices if you do want to manage some additional text-to-speech device behavior. For example, I have this default profile set up, and then I also created this firmware profile with some different settings. So in here, for example, you're able to set the volume for any devices assigned to that profile. So this can be helpful if you don't want to have to go to every device to turn up or turn down the volume. You can do it from here. And then you do also have the option if you want to make changes to this update channel. This controls how your devices are able to receive any software updates. So right now it's disabled, they're not receiving updates, but I could turn it on to production if I do want them to get any new software updates that my system has been downloading. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel that for now. You do also have the option from this page to specify some pronunciations for your text-to-speech alerts. So if you do notice that when you send something with text-to-speech, it's pronouncing a word wrong, like maybe a name, you can come in here and customize how your system will pronounce those words. So for example, I noticed that my last name Gillum was being pronounced incorrectly, which I understand. It looks like it should be Gilliam, but it's Gillum. So I was able to come in here and I can preview what it sounds like without the pronunciation. Gilliam. And then I was able to specify up here each phoneme or each sound in my name so that I could really customize exactly how it should be pronounced. So I can hear the updated pronunciation here.
Gillum.
Gillum. So it's able to use the correct pronunciation anytime I use the word Gillum in an alert that I send. And then the last section down here are the text-to-speech devices. So this is where you're able to see any speakers that you do have connected, and you're also able to come in and update some specific device settings, like updating groups or locations from here. And then the final section on this page is the relay profiles, which I don't have any set up since I just have my speaker on its own. I don't have any other devices attached to my speaker, but you can create different relay profiles if you do want to manage the behavior of any like peripheral devices you might have attached. But I believe that was everything that I had intended to cover. I do see that there is a chat, and I did want to save some time for questions. So please feel free to type any questions into the chat box. We'll stick around for 6 more minutes or so to make sure we can get them all answered. And I did just see Chris asked about the speech pronunciation. So hopefully this answered your question here. So yes, you are able to come in for any word that's being pronounced wrong, and you can just use the phoneme reference down here. So it matches like a phoneme or list of characters with a specific sound. So you can just build out the exact sounds that you want it to use.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Apologies if you hear some background noise there. As for Chris's other question, I do see that there are no pauses at the end of sentences. Interesting. Have you been doing so with, have you been including periods and things like that? Because I don't know if we've had that issue. Sarah, do you feel like you have that issue when you use a text-to-speech speaker?
Maybe. I don't think that there is a way to program like prolonged pauses. I believe that it should have some sort of pause if there is a period, but we could definitely put in an idea request for that to be able to, in the text, somehow clarify that you want a pause, or maybe there could be something in this pronunciation section where you can set like the seconds of pause after a period. But I don't believe there's a way to do that currently. But that is definitely a great idea that we can let the software team know about.
Yeah, I've also seen a few customers try full uh indents, not indents, like a new line. They return and enter to a new line. And I have asked them why they do that, and they said that it sometimes helps with the pronunciation. So I would potentially give that a try, and report back to us if needed. And we can also put in either a tech support ticket if it is so much of an issue that we can troubleshoot together, or like Sarah said, an idea request for sure. Yes, I'm gonna add 2 other user guides as well in the chat. So the first one is about the live voice from the browser that Sarah demonstrated once at the beginning of this. And then I'm also going to be adding in the other user guide around the text-to-speech AVA devices there, that those you can access in our customer portal, as well as other recordings for our power lunches if you've missed those in the past, or you just want to revisit these in the future. We do have the power lunch recordings there as well. So definitely be in touch with us if you have any other questions. We'll be on the line for a little bit longer. And we do have these every Friday. So next Friday, our session will be on, let me look it up. Optimizing threat watcher configuration for automated severe weather alerting. So please come if you would like to learn anything more about how to optimize weather alerts in your system to automatically send out those messages. I'm pulling up the Zoom link now, and we'll put that in the chat as well. And we appreciate your time today, and definitely hope to see you at a future power lunch. Right, I'm putting, oops.
And have a great weekend and a good rest of your Friday.
Thank you all.